when the new product comes out, do you want to purchase it to be the first to have them graded to get the premium on the 10s? Or do you wait for it to plummet a little bit and then just, take it from there?
I was gonna say, I noticed there's not a lot of soccer stuff, and I'm assuming that's kind of like by design. I know here the market's not that great, but like in the rest of the world, like soccer's number one. So I just want to see if there's any, like, do you say to kind of just stay away from soccer?
If someone was interested in buying, let's just say 3-4 of my cards, what's your take when it's like someone's like asking to do a trade of similar, just to lower that cash or that, that transaction?
What is up, everybody? We are here for episode number 56 of the Eric Michael Show, where I talk about business, life, sports cards, making money, and all sorts of good stuff like that. And right now, while I'm speaking, it is late April, and the NFL draft just happened. The NFL draft is the most fascinating time of the year for football cards and these quarterbacks going up and down in value. I thought the Panthers did a good job of finally getting Bryce Young a weapon. I thought that was pretty solid. Biggest surprise, obviously, is Shedeur Sanders falling. Like, wow, that was insane. He's obviously a first or second round talent, but those pre-draft interviews he had were probably they must have just been terrible. I mean, I saw rumors of them, that's how bad they were, but wow, that was just insane. The 5th round. Then the Browns got Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. It's unfortunate that these guys who just got drafted, they don't really have many cards out to buy, grade, and sell. Their good cards don't come out until after. But to answer your question, Joel, no, I'm not buying Shedeur Sanders. But let's get into it and let's start buying some cards. We'll wait for some people to join. There's my phone number down there at the bottom left if you want to call in and ask, but I'm going to give that about 5 to 10 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to call in the next 5 minutes or so. But let's have some fun here. So, the NFL draft just happened. And so, check this out, right? So, I thought some winners here of the draft. So, obviously, you had the Titans with Cam Ward. Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter. So, I don't think Trevor Lawrence's value, I don't think will be affected by this. But I thought this was just a terrible trade for the Jaguars. This was terrible. They gave up their first rounder next year. They have so many missing pieces. Obviously, if he's amazing, no one will ever talk about it. But yeah, Caleb Williams, I mean, they are loaded. Wow. DJ Moore, they have Odunze, and then they have 2 tight ends, Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland. I believe the Lions last year, so when Ben Johnson, who's now the head coach of the Bears, when he was the offensive coordinator of the Lions, they ran the 3rd most amount of 12 personnel. So 12 personnel, if you don't know what it is, it's when you have 2 tight ends and 2 receivers. And I believe they scored the most amount of touchdowns from 12 personnel. And now Caleb Williams has 2 tight ends. I think Caleb Williams' value, I mean, let's see. Let's take a look at Caleb Williams' value. I think he's like on the radar as a guy who's pretty solid to buy and grade. I mean, you can see the last sale, this was after the draft, of a PSA 10 spiked up a little bit, but I think Caleb Williams is going to generate a lot of hype, excitement. I mean, Ben Johnson, they are loaded. They are loaded with talent. I thought they were a winner. Panthers, they had to get a weapon. They haven't given Bryce Young anything. Anthony Richardson, I mean, I still think Anthony Richardson stinks with Tyler Warren going to the Colts. I think he's still a solid buy because his stuff is so young. His stuff is so cheap, but I would definitely sell it before the season because they just, Ibuka to the Bucks was an interesting pick because they already have multiple receivers. Omari and Hampton, don't really know much about him. Although what I could tell you, am I going crazy here? Or the over-under win total for the Chargers this year is 9.5. And the over 9.5 is plus 110. That's insane. Like, that's wild. That's insane. That's crazy. Matthew Golden to the Packers here with Jordan Love. He kind of gives me like a weird pick, but I think he'll be really good because he's kind of similar to Christian Watson-ish, like big guy, burner, speed. But out of curiosity, because I've been, for the past few weeks, I've been saying like Jordan Love, like buy him. And this isn't really a good indicator. I'm curious if his like where his value's at now before I go in and start buying stuff. Jordan Love, contenders. No, that's ticket stub. Hold on a second. I want to see his regular contenders. I want to see if his value is up or if there's any recent sales. I can't find any. I can't find his base contenders. Why is that? Why can I not find his base contenders? What am I missing here? Ticket stub. I can't find. I'll just look on eBay. It's okay. Jordan Love contenders auto PSA 10 2020. I just want to see if his sales spiked up a little bit after they got Matthew Golden 1,400. Oh, this is his championship ticket. That's not the same card. $1,000. Oh, so there hasn't been a sale recently. I've bought a few Jordan Love cards. I think Jordan Love is not a bad buy. But we have alt here. So alt I've been buying some cards on alt recently, and alt I use alt a lot to buy cards already graded. And then I buy eBay a lot of the time to buy cards that are not graded. But let's take a look on alt and just see. It's always interesting what you can see here. Look at these Pokemon cards, man. Like, I don't know that much about Pokemon, to be honest with you, but these Pokemon cards have just been selling like crazy. It's insane. But anyways, let's take a look at some football cards. So if we do category football and we could let's sort by highest price, highest alt value. This card of Jaden Daniels is sick. Not something on my radar. Joe Milton, Gold Boom. Herbert, man. Herbert, I don't know how much hype and excitement he's going to get. Even though I think the Chargers are going to be really good. I think it's crazy their over-under win total is 9.5. I think they're going to give the Chiefs a run for their money with winning the division. I think it's insane. Let's see. Joe Burrow, Purple Power. I can't see his value going up a ton. Playoff ticket, Drew Brees. There's not many. I'm looking for like there's Jordan Love. Not a card I want, but there's nothing crazy on here. There's card of Bryce Young, Forest Camo. Bryce Young, problem with Bryce Young with buying his cards, if you're buying them now to like hold as the season gets closer, his value, the reason I'm skeptical about it is because you could see in the past like 180 days, it's like just been boop, 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 up and up and up. So it's come down a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. But I'm kind of skittish on Jordan Love now just because I want to buy before their value goes up, obviously. That's the name of the game, not after their value has gone up. But this card of Brock Purdy, ticket stub number 3. That's a rare card. This card must be messed up, though. This has a 7 surface. I already bought a big card of Brock Purdy. Probably was too aggressive with Purdy. There's probably better purchases. Like, okay, this is a solid card of Purdy. Like, you get this bad boy. Blue Ice. People love this stuff. Blue Ice. See if there's any sales. This is something I might bid on, honestly, even though I'm not like too crazy about Purdy's value, but Blue Ice, PSA 10. It's a very liquid card. So let's see. There's no sales recently. $1,300 or $1,350. You know what? This card is at, where are we at with this auction? How many days left? How many days? 10 days. I'll wait. Yeah, there's nothing crazy on here. The last time I was on here, it was pretty crazy. And I won a bunch of stuff. A bunch of Sam Darnold, actually. But nothing crazy. At least in terms, they're nice cards, but nothing crazy in terms of what I'm looking for. But let's hop over to eBay and look at some cards to possibly get graded. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, I'll be taking callers here in a few minutes in the bottom left. But let's take a look. I think basketball, like buying basketball cards that are already like graded to hold, not too big on it because I don't think the hype and excitement is like nearly there what it is with football. I'd rather dump my money into football. But for grading basketball, I think there's a lot of great opportunity. I think it's a little bit of a sleeper, like Jared McCain, Alex Sarr, these guys where their teams lost, they're not playing anymore. Probably a lot of the hype and excitement has died. Like if we look here, like I think Jared McCain is a great buy right now in terms of buying his cards to get graded. So like you could see a silver prism, just you could see how much it was when the product first came out. It's come down. And I wonder if there's any PSA 10s of this. Jared McCain, no recorded sales. These cards are hard to grade. But let's take a look at any prism cards. And let's look at auctions ending the soonest. And if you don't know what I'm doing here, what you can do is click advanced and do minimum price like $100. And you can do one min bid count. So it only shows you auctions or cards that have at least one bid. So it's pretty cool. So you're not looking over those auctions where people start them way too high because it's just a waste of time. And a lot of people do that, unfortunately. But let's take a look here and see. Well, let's look at cards that are not graded. Let's take a look. Zach Edey, he's an interesting buy. I like to buy guards more, so not too crazy. Drake Maye, I like Drake Maye cards. This is, let's see, this card is, it's pretty well centered. Can't see that corner that easily. Pandora, number to 400. Okay. This card ends in 7 hours. Let's see if he sells other items. Yeah, so he definitely doesn't grade cards. Let's take a look at what this card actually sells for. I think I looked a few weeks ago. Pandora, number 400. So this card's like 140, 200. PSA 9's 189. That's good to know. I wonder if there's any PSA 10s. PSA 10, there's one that did 600. This was like 2 months ago. PSA 10 of this card's probably like 450, 500. So, this isn't a bad card. Oh, not this one. This one. I will bid on it. So let's go to Easy Sniper. Easy Sniper is a software I use that lets me bid on auctions in the last second, so I can just forget about it. Let's bid. I'm gonna be cheap here. PSA 9 did 189. So because the PSA 9 did 189, I'm just gonna like cover my ass here and do like a random number, 162. You can see, I've been losing a lot of bids lately. I'm too cheap a lot of the time. A lot of the cards I buy are usually not on eBay. They're actually people just I know, friends, etc. Blue Optic, number to 199. Optic just came out, I believe, or recently. I was in Europe, so past few weeks, so I was away for a little bit. This card actually looks pretty good. It's well centered. Let me take a look at something. I just want to see like Drake, Maye, Optic, base. Let's do like Optic. There's not a lot of sales. Optic just came out. I'm curious to see if they've come down. So this is his Optic Hollow. You can see when the product first comes out, $85, $100, and it's come down and back up. Okay, so this product came out like 2 weeks ago, so it's still a little high. So I would need a decent price, and this is going to end in auction. People are going to be too excited and just overbid on it. It's like the first sale of the card, so it's going to sell for too much. I could already tell. Nice card, but let's see here. Jaden Daniels. It's too off-center. That top is too small for the bottom. Stephon Castle. Oh, that's cards off-center, and I can see it from a mile away. Let's look at some. Curious. Let's flip this around. Let's look at Jared Kane. Ooh, I like this. This is right up my alley. This card's definitely not going to grade well because it's on quick consign. So any auctions, anything with a consignment shop usually doesn't grade too hot. Usually, not always. Oh man, I like this card. I wonder if there's any sales of it. Look at. Best way to do this would just be to look at Jared McCain, Prism, and let's just look at the highest ones ever sold. Gold Shimmer, gold at 2,500. Actually, let's hop over to 130 point. 130 point is, so the reason I use 130 points because So this card that sold for $2,500, I can't actually see what the offer accepted was. But 130 point should tell me. Let's take a look here. And I'll get to your guys' questions here in a second. So that gold prism is not popping up on here. Nope, not popping up on there. Oh, here it is. I think, is it the same listing? Jared McCain. Yeah, so I guess it did sell for $2,500. Yeah, I know it's in shitty condition because it's sold via consignment shop. That's usually where people just dump their crappy cards. Curious. Oh, what's out there of Jared McCain? That's high. What's the highest stuff out there? There's Black 101, $100,000. That guy's crazy. Card is not worth $100,000. We gotta ask. Can't blame him. Nothing crazy. Gold Hollow, Donruss. Let's answer some questions. By the way, if you guys have questions, I'll prioritize the questions that if you call in to the number on the bottom. So let's start this off with Mr. Joel. You know, Joel, there's a person very well known in my industry, like in the online marketing industry, and his name is Joel Kaplan as well. Interesting enough. And I thought you were him, but it wouldn't make any sense. He wouldn't be buying and selling sports cards. But it's something interesting. Caller? Oh, okay, go for it.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? You have Eric here?
Hey, what's happening, man?
What's up?
Man, I got a few questions here.
Yeah, go for it. What's your name?
All right. My name's Sam.
Sam? Where are you calling from?
Texas, Austin.
Texas. Oh, I used to live in Austin. I used to live in Lake Travis. But what's up, dude?
Oh, that's where I'm at. What do you call it? The Takara out in by Lake Travis.
Okay. What's Takara?
Steiner Ranch.
Is that a town?
Steiner Ranch area.
Okay, gotcha. Do you know the pizza shop? I used to go there all the time. It's on like that main highway, Craigos.
No, man, I'm fairly new out to this area.
Go to. Honestly, the pizza's not good over there. But go to Craigos. They got decent Italian food.
Craigos.
Yeah, it's like Craig
Okay, cool.
and then an O. Craig.
Got
O's. It's pretty solid. But what's up, dude? How can I help?
Yeah, man. So, okay, I kind of ran into a little bit of a problem. I thought I caught the timing of this new Optic product, but it clearly went lower. So my question, I guess, comes down to when the new product comes out, do you want to purchase it to be the first to have them graded to get the premium on the 10s? Or do you wait for it to plummet a little bit and then just, take it from there?
How long have you been doing sports cards?
6 months.
Yeah. So what I would recommend doing and what I would tell you, if you were in my program is if you're newer, be as conservative as possible, make the easiest money possible. So you want to wait like 3 or 4 weeks till it absolutely stabilizes. However, once you get going and you have a few $1,000s a month coming in, then then you could take a shot. You never want to be the first 1 or 2 purchases of a card, but you could wait like a week, let it come down a little bit. So for example, let's take a random card, a Drake Maye. I was just looking at this on eBay. A Drake Maye blue number to 199, right? Optic. That card might sell for like it's the first sale of that card. So it might do really high. It might sell for like $1,000, right? So it'll sell for like 1,000 and then 900. And then like there'll be a few sales of like 700, and then it'll settle down to like 500, right? So if you want, what I used to do or still do here and there is like be like the 3rd or 4th sale, let it come down a little bit, but just know, and this still gives you time to be one of the first PSA 10s, but just know if it gets a PSA 9, you're going to lose your ass. Not lose your ass, but you'll lose. Like if you buy that card for $700 that I'm talking about, you'll lose like $200, but if it gets a 10, you'll make like $2,000. But to answer your question, I would just wait 3 or 4 weeks until it absolutely stabilizes and it's at its bottom, then go in and buy and get the cards back before the football season. And hopefully by the time you get them back, they grade well, and also they go up like 10, 20%. So in your case, because you're newer, I wouldn't take any big risk.
Okay, cool. Okay, and also, so I downloaded Market Mover app,
Yep.
and I'm noticing a few things here. So it's kind of conflicting.
Yeah.
So some of the research that I've done via YouTube, it's saying that the best, for instance, NFL time to buy would be like that April's time frame to have that the 3 month grading process right before the season starts to offload your ratings. But what I'm finding though from that app is that a lot of the lower parts of or the least amount that these cards are being sold for is in like that November time frame. So I don't know. Do I want to buy it is your strategy to buy it at its absolute lowest, or is it, buy it at a somewhat lower and then have it for the grading process time to then sell it in, into July, August?
Wait, so you're saying in November it says that's when the most of these cards sell?
No, I'm saying that the end of in the November timeframe is the lowest I've ever seen any of these cards sell.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. So what I do, okay, yeah. So my strategy, as you've probably have you listened to my content before? Or you're kind of more new.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay. So my strategy is I am selling all football before that season starts at all costs. Okay. And
right,
a, a player, okay, there is no most popular time for football. Okay, so it's player dependent, right? So,
okay,
right, let me just think for a second. So you have the NFL draft that just happened, right?
hmm
Because the NFL draft just happened, I think like if I'm buying cards to get graded, I kind of like the idea of buying Caleb Williams um, more than most of those guys now because they are just loaded, and that hype and excitement is really
yeah,
going to build. They got two good tight ends now. They have two good receivers. They have Ben Johnson at the helm, and he's an offensive guru. I'm selling that thing before the season starts. But so what I do is, yes, I'm buying through. I buy football like February, March, April, May. I'm buying football, getting it graded, and making sure it comes back to me in July or August, right? And then it's all sold, and hopefully you made some good money. And then what I'll do,
hmm
and this is more advanced, but you could do it, is I don't like to buy basketball that much. I mess around with it some. The basketball market's kind of weak because I don't know why. Maybe just because the ratings plummeted or there's not a lot of young, like really young, exciting players. I don't know.
right.
But what I do with football is like October, November, when someone gets injured or their values plummet, I go in and buy. And
Got it. So
so,
are you saying their values, are you maintaining the membership with Market Movers
yeah,
or
yeah.
these other apps to, you know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, market movers is where I get my data. But like, I also, like, it's not that hard. Like, I watch football. So
Sure.
you just know like who gets injured and who's playing like shit. So I'll go back in October, November, for example, and like a good example of this is like Bryce Young, right? Bryce Young in like
hmm
October, November was playing terrible. So maybe actually Bryce Young isn't a good example. Okay, Jordan Love's a better example. So Jordan Love
Okay.
was having a rocky season. His value, his PSA 10 contenders in the beginning of last year, before the season started, was like 2,200. Then it came all the way down to like $1,000, right? So in October, November, I buy someone like Jordan Love because the way I look at it is okay, I know Jordan Love's going to start for the Packers next year, right? That's a given. They're not going to draft another quarterback. And I'm going to buy his cards really cheap. They're already at their floor. He's injured. If he comes back and he plays well, hopefully that happens and they go up in the next month or two and I can make a lot of money. Or if not, I'm going to buy Jordan Love anyways in the offseason, like probably January, February, March, and I'll hold it, till like, June, July, August, and hopefully his value goes up then. So it's like two things. It could pop off. He can get back and play well, or I'll just hold it anyways till like June or July. But this is buying cards already graded, not buying cards
hmm
to get graded.
Okay.
Bryce
Okay. Good.
Young, like last year, in my opinion, like I say this, but his value actually like skyrocketed. Like if you bought Bryce Young and last year in October, like you could see here, I could actually share my screen. It might be a little delayed for you, but like Bryce Young, Silver Prism PS 10. So Bryce Young last year, and like so his Silver Prism PS 10 before the season started was like $200, and then he started playing, and it plummeted all the way down to like $50, $60 in October. Then he
Hmm.
started to play well, and now this card is actually it's almost back up to where it once was. So like if you bought Bryce Young last year in October, you would have tripled your money. However, the reason I did not buy Bryce Young is because he actually got benched and he was playing so bad where it looked like he wasn't going to start. So if you buy Bryce
Yeah.
Young in October and you just do that strategy I just said and hold his cards into the next year, if he's not starting, it's not going to go up because no one gives a shit about him. So,
Okay.
I know I just went on a rampage, but does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, and then I kind of ran into something funny here.
Yeah.
This specific card right here, okay? It's a Sam Darnold orange die
Yep.
cut out of 299.
Uh-huh.
Look this up. It's quite weird. So the last sale was a while back for $52 or something.
Okay.
However, its raw sale just sold for 49. So PSA 10 sold for 52 a while back, and then recently the raw sold for 49. I bought this card at my local card shop for 30 raw.
What,
The PSA
what is it?
10 to
What is it?
it's a
2018?
Sam Darnold orange prism. His raw, sorry, yeah, his rookie card. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it. So you're asking me why the value is what it is?
Yeah, so I took a chance on this one, and it's over a 55% likelihood of being a PSA 10 as far as like what the PSA says. It's there's X amount of graded 10s and the rest of so it's like 55-60% likelihood of as long as it's clean, it's going to be a 10. So is it worth grading at this point because the raw sold just as much as the last PSA 10 sale was? Like, what is it, or is this just something I need to stay away from next
No,
time?
it's not worth grading. Like a PSA 10, I'm looking right here. There's a bunch of sales: $51, $60, $64,
Hmm.
46. Oh, that's a PSA 9. Yeah, sometimes cards are weird. There's a PSA 9 of $46 and then a PSA 10 is like $60. The card just doesn't have that much demand. That's why there's weird sales like that. I would not get it graded because you paid what, 30
Okay.
bucks, 40 bucks?
Yep.
And what are you going to do? Spend $20 to get it graded and break even if it tens?
Hmm.
It's not worth it. I would just sell it and break even and move on. It's not a card worth getting
Okay.
graded. You have to be like for the future, I would not buy cards like that. Number one, just
Okay.
you don't really want to be buying cards to get graded from 2018. It's just they're old.
Got it.
They're even if the card's in good condition, PSA is going to be strict on it to control the population report. When they see that card, they're just going to be skeptical. Like if I saw a card from 2018, the first thing I'm thinking is, "What the hell's wrong with this card? Why hasn't it been graded?" And
Hmm.
number two, since you've seen my content, you see me talk about it. You want to at least double your money. So like before you buy a card, make sure if that card tens, you could at least double your money after all fees. So if you're spending 30 bucks on that card, you need a PSA 10 to be like like 80, 90 bucks. And it might be in a
Okay.
few months, but it's not right now. So I would not buy yeah. For grading, no good.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And then is there like as far as when you're talking about buying slabs, for like for instance, Bryce Young, right? If you're buying Bryce Young slabs for the intention of selling preseason, is there like a dollar amount that you try to stick in? That's your is it don't go buy like a $60
Yeah.
Bryce Young PSA 10. Go and buy a couple $100 Bryce Young PSA 10 for the
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So I would not buy cards already graded if your budget's so like the way I teach it is you buy cards raw, you buy them while they're cheap, you get them graded, you make money,
Hmm.
and you could get that up to like, I don't know, anywhere between like 3 to 7 grand a month profit I've seen on average. But then after that, it's kind of hard to make more money. So that's when you start buying cards already graded to put your money in a better spot
Okay.
rather than just sitting in the bank. So if you don't have like 20, 30 grand extra laying around, or if you're not already making a few $1,000s a month from flipping cards, grading them, I would not buy cards already graded
Okay.
because it's like mathematically, it's not worth it, right? If you take a card of Bryce Young today, that's $200 and you buy it, you hold it for 4 months, and now you sell for
Mhm.
$300, you could have done much more with that money, that $200, getting cards graded rather than holding. And then holding is usually
Okay.
better with cards a little bit more expensive, like $1,000 plus. For the most part, like if you ever see me buy cards already graded, usually they're $1,000 plus.
Got it.
Usually.
Okay.
So I would just buy grade, sell.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's it. That's all I've got over here, man.
Well, sweet. I appreciate it. Yeah, let me know how it goes.
Awesome.
Keep me updated.
Yeah.
Feel free to call in, in the next week or two. Yeah, hopefully I helped
Yeah.
you out.
Come out to the Austin show coming up.
Oh, there's an Austin show.
Yeah.
It's very like just I try, but it's just nearly impossible for me to like
I feel you,
leave the
man.
office because now we have an office and all these employees here. And it's like I have no fucking life, dude. I wish I was able to go to more card shows. They're so much fun. But how many tables is it?
I think they were saying a few hundred.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty
That's
good.
decent. It's nothing crazy.
Are you setting up there?
But no. By then, I'll have all my cards. I have got like 42 cards at PSA right now.
Oh,
Man, I
nice.
can probably wind up with like 4 grand or 10 grand. I've got some big stuff coming in, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you make a lot of money. Yeah, let me know how it
Yeah, yeah.
goes, and let me know if it's a good show. Maybe I'll
Cool.
come out to the next one. You know, film some stuff.
That works for me. I appreciate it, man.
All right, have a good one. Good luck.
Bye.
Is there another caller?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? You got Eric?
Oh, hey, Eric. This is Ray from LA. I just joined the program last week and did my onboarding call last week.
Nice. Just so you know,
So,
I don't know if you're aware of this, but this
mhm.
podcast is live just in front of anyone for people in the program and not in the program. Just as a heads up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're good. You're perfectly good to call in. You
Well,
have any questions?
the quick question I had was, looking over everything, I was gonna say I noticed there's not a lot of soccer stuff, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming that's kind of like by design because I'm
Yep.
kind of like I follow all sports and I do follow soccer. I know here the market's not that great, but like in the rest of the world, like soccer's number one. So I just want to see if there's any like, do you say to kind of just stay away from soccer, or is that something still potentially we could use to
Yeah,
flip cards?
since you're newer, I would not get into soccer just because
Okay.
like soccer is the most popular sport in the world, but sports cards is driven by the United States market, and soccer is just not that popular here. One day, soccer will be popular in England, but I people in England, like I was just in England a few days ago, and they don't
Hmm.
really know what sports cards is. But for money making
Oh, okay.
money making purposes, there's so much money to be made with like football, basketball, and baseball. Just go there. There's way more cards to buy, and like when you buy a card and get it graded, you have much more demand for Caleb Williams rather than Kylian Mbappe because
Yeah.
just football's number one here. So I would not like there. I used to have video modules in the program about soccer, but I took them out just because people were making money, but they weren't making the same amount of money as the people that were buying, you know, the three main American sports. And even hockey is the
Yeah.
fourth one is really good. So that's why I took it out because just, my number one goal, like obviously you joined the program, you paid me money. My bottom line goal is to help you make as much money as possible. So you can make money, but I took it out because the money is just less than the other sports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of figured. So good to know. Thank you.
Yep. No, any other questions?
No, that was all. It was just kind of that what I noticed when I started going through like modules and
Yeah,
program
yeah.
and
I'll just
everything.
stick to
But thank
football
you.
right now. You joined at a good time. Just stick to football.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. See you later. Good luck. All right. Joel, I cut you off, or I cut off your question. There we go. Do you ever send cards back when you buy on eBay because they aren't what you expected? I used to do that when I was younger, but I stopped because it pissed people off and I didn't want a bad reputation. Unless it's terrible. If it's like just like terrible, or I can see the person on eBay edited the picture so it looks better on eBay, then I'll return it. But if it's like a little worse, I don't return cards. I don't recommend it. You'll piss people off, even though it is easier and saves you a little bit of money, but I don't. Let's say good day. What is this? This is a podcast. So let's see. Can't pronounce your name. I'll call you Abby by your last name. Good morning, Michael. Quick question. I bought a CJ Stroud rookie card Pandora number to 400 PSA 10. What would be a good price tag to purchase in Canadian dollars? If not, just tell me in US dollars. Okay. So let's take a look. So CJ Stroud, Pandora Over to 400 PSA 10. So the last sale did 530, 584. If you're buying it on eBay, I'd pay. Me personally, like if this was me, this is a good card, but it's not like a great card that will appreciate a lot if CJ Stroud's value goes up. So like the absolute most I'm paying for this card for me would be like 90% of this last sale. So like 480 would be me personally if I was buying this card. So 480 USD to CAD, that's 664 Canadian dollars. This is the most I would pay for the card if it was me. If it was a different card, like something like a blue ice or something, I'd pay closer to full comp. But yeah, it's not like a great card. It's a good card. It is Prism, but it's like a second tier variation of Prism, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's where I would go with this card. Hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Abby. Good morning. I use a website that tells you the gem rate with a company for any card. So my question is, when you are buying cards to grade, do you only buy cards with a high enough gem rate? No, I actually do the opposite. So think about this, Caleb. This is a good way to think about things. So I'll tell you a quick story. So students in my program, when Prism came out, they were all nervous. They were like, holy shit, this product is hard to grade. I'm talking about Football Prism. So Football Prism grades at about a 20% clip, roughly. At least last time I looked. About 20% of cards will get a 10. If you're good at what you do, you'll make much more money buying cards that are a little bit harder to grade because you can separate yourself from the rest much easier. A product I remember like Topps Finest years ago. Almost all of them got 10s or BGS 9.5s, and everyone sends them in for grading, so they're way easier. But when you get cards that are a little bit harder to grade, like Prism, no one wants to grade them. There's way more clean cards available, and when you do grade a 10, you make much more money, right? If 80% of a specific type of card get a 10, you make much less money than 20%. So you could buy a card of Prism. Here, let me show you. Instead of me talking, I will show. So take this card of, let's just take a silver Prism Drake Maye card, for example. So this card as a 10, you can see it does $900. And let's see, not graded, or like 700. And why can't I see cards that are, I don't know what this card does raw. So it's 700 as a 10, and raw, this card's $76, right? So the reason there's such a crazy margin is because this card is harder to grade. Probably, 10 to 20% of these cards actually get a 10. Probably less than 20%. So if you know what you're doing and you're able to get 40% of these cards to 10, you buy 10 of them, 4 of them get a 10, you're making much more money than buying cards that are much easier to grade because you're able to separate yourself more from the competition, if that makes sense. But there's no room to separate yourself from people if 80% of this card get a 10. So hopefully that makes sense. So I actually think it's better when cards are a little bit harder to grade. Me personally. Let's see. This is from Chris. What do you recommend the best way to get rid of all my $1 to $10 cards? Oh, what's that place called? What's it called? Hold on, let me look. ComC. Yep, I forgot the name for a second. ComC. You could send a bunch of cards to them, and they'll auction off a bunch of lower end cards. So, ComC. It's COMC. COMC.com. Let's see what else we got. What other questions? Caleb again. I have one other question as well. I don't have a big bankroll, so I'm grading rookie QBs with SGC. Should I be concerned if a card only has a couple comps in SGC? No, because a card's probably not going to have a ton of comps in SGC because most people send them the PSA. But only thing I would say is just make sure the card's going to at least double your money and you're going to get a 10. So I'm assuming you're sending cards to SGC and you're taking my advice because they come back quicker. So you get built up your bankroll a lot faster. But just make sure, because SGC sells for less than PSA, just make sure that a card is at least doubling your money if it tens. But a few comps is fine. Good morning, Eric. I've been following your show for about 3 weeks. Well, thank you. But this is the first live one I've been able to catch. Love the. I thought you're coming here with a question. I appreciate it. Love the content. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just try to go on here, just give you guys as much value as humanly possible. You're live.
Hey, is this Eric?
This is Eric. You're live on the show. How may I help you? Or
Oh,
first tell me your name, and where you're calling from, and then.
this is Mike from Northeast Ohio.
Oh, nice. What's up? My girlfriend lives in Ohio, or she's from Ohio, from Dayton, Ohio, though. So I think that's not Northeast, right?
I'm up in between Cleveland and Akron area.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Cold. Sounds cold over there.
So, but hey, I called in a couple weeks ago. I had that Aaron Rodgers that I sent into
Oh,
PSA.
it
I don't know
was.
if you remember.
Was it like an X Fractor or something?
Yeah, the X Factor.
Yeah. Yep. I remember.
But anyway, I got other questions that I was going to ask that day, but I got cut off or I hung up or something. But
Oh, sorry about that. Well, yeah, let it rip.
so just getting rolling and all this grading and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I just got back. I sent in 10 to PSA. 6 of them came back, so I think I'm doing something good.
Nice. Yeah. Look up.
Two of them I shouldn't have sent in and wasted the time grading. So like I've had that feeling like I probably shouldn't have
Yeah,
wasted the
that still
grade.
happens to me.
But
So yeah.
yeah. But then I have another 50 waiting. They're in the grading process now, and then I just sent off another 5.
Cool.
I'm trying to get it rolling so it's like flowing back, and then more getting into the grading. But
Yep.
question is it better to do like the colored cards? Like I sent in a lot of pink optics, blue scopes, red waves.
That's the right stuff.
That's the right stuff. Okay, what about like the hollows, like the optic hollows of the rookies?
Yeah, those
Is
are
that a
just.
good flipper?
Oh, those are some of the best because you like 4, 5, 6 times your money if it tens. But a lot of the times
Okay.
but the reason for that is because they're hard to grade. A lot of the times they have surface issues. So just watch out for
Yeah.
optic hollows. Here, I'll share my screen and I'll show you. It might be a little delayed for you. But so if you're looking at like optic hollow Caleb Williams, for example. So what I would be looking for, so there's 2 things I would look for. Number 1, so because this surface is like so like shiny, they get scratched really easily. So and it'll never be perfect, but even if you buy a card and it has like a little dimple in it, that's okay. If it's small, but like multiple dimples or a big scratch, you're screwed. It's not going to 10. So just watch out for like anything on the surface. And then the other thing, because optic is newer, what I would be doing. So if I'm looking at like a Caleb Williams optic hollow, I want to make sure the price comes down a little bit. So it started out at $109 and now it's flatline. Now it's selling for about $45, $46. So I would say it's good to buy because there's like 4 or 5 sales in a row that are around the same. So you just don't want to buy it, for $100 and you get the card back and it's worth half. So
Right.
yeah, those are excellent cards. Like that card that sells for $46. If you 10 that card, I could almost guarantee it would do 300 probably, if not more. It could easily do more. Like probably similar to the silver prism, a little less. Like silver prisms will 8 to 10 times your money. So that's one of those cards. You buy 10 of them, hopefully 4, 10, and you make a lot of money.
Okay. Another question with the PSA submissions, do you so if you're sending in like 4 of the same card, is that like cool, or are they kind of weird with that, or
No,
how does that,
it's just like
like
sending
4
in it.
pinks in a row? Do you just put them all in a row, like
Yeah,
4 pinks or
I just put them all in a row, and I don't know how true this is, but Ultra Pro, is that the name of the card saver? Ultra Pro card saver. I would recommend sending in that because that's what PSA apparently they like it the most because they use it or something. I don't know how true it is, but I would use those.
Yeah. Okay. And then like some of the cards I've been getting like on the back, like it's like if you look at them under a light, like I wear like this headlamp and stuff. They're on my inspection and all that stuff, but there's like it's just like this surface, like it's not really scratches, but it just looks like, I don't know I'll see when I get the cards back if they even what if they grade that part of it, but it's just kind of like I don't know if you know what I'm talking about if you look at it really close. they're just kind of lines
Fact,
on the
fact,
back. You
factoring
probably
lines.
wouldn't even see it. Yeah, you probably wouldn't even see it with the naked
A
eye.
light. So like in my experience, a light one, like 1,
Mhm.
like okay, 2, not okay. And it's got to be
Okay.
light. But yeah, those are hard to
Yeah.
see. But so it just depends on how the severity of it. That's all.
And then when I start getting all these back, I feel like right now it's kind of like the stock market. It's like bombed bottom. Like looking out on stuff and everyone's selling slabs and stuff, and they're just like not even like I picked up. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I was picking up like Anthony Richardson Optic Hollow PSA 10s for $40 over the
No, that's
weekend.
not crazy.
I'm
You are a smart
just
man.
taking a risk.
No. Oh,
So
continue. Go.
but I was doing stuff like that, but so I mean, is this technically this is kind of like when that slow time is like listening to your shows sounds like, but then once we get closer to the season, kind of hold some of this stuff until like right um, before and then sell it.
Yeah,
What?
it depends on the player. So things will happen. Like okay, first off, I think buying Anthony Richardson is a great idea. Not because he's a good
Mhm.
player, but just simply because it's so low. Like, can it go any
Yeah.
lower? It could if he gets injured, but if he doesn't get injured, it's either really break
Mhm.
even or make money. Right? That's a good gamble.
I
That's
mean,
that,
he could be traded to a different team too. I
he
mean,
could
a
be
good team,
traded
but
if he gets traded to a different team and he's a backup. That'll probably cause the value to go down. But for the most
yeah.
part, he's at its floor. He's probably going to start for the Colts. I don't think they have
Mhm.
anyone else. Who's their backup? I don't know. But just the sheer fact of him starting, well, there's always people buying anyone. So, and they drafted that tight end, Tyler Warren. So, probably some hype will build. Probably drafted him because he's freaking huge, and Anthony Richardson can't complete a simple pass. So,
Yeah.
and he's inaccurate. But no, buying Anthony Richardson's a great idea. But to answer your question, all the players, for example, they all like peak at different times. So like Anthony Richardson, he might just like slowly go up before the season, and that card that you bought for $45 will be worth like $65. Or sometimes
Mhm.
something will happen where it'll skyrocket the player. So last year when the Cardinals drafted Marvin Harrison, Kyler Murray's value shot up. Or if like a player plays well in a spring training or preseason game, their value will shoot up. So you might sell it in July. Like there might be a report out there that Anthony Richardson looks amazing in practice. He's wowed all of his teammates, and that'll
Mhm.
cause his value to skyrocket, and you sell it. Or if not, if nothing
Okay.
crazy happens and there's no like point of impact or like point of like hype, it'll probably just slowly go up for the season. You sell it, hopefully make 20-30%. That's kind of how I look at it when I buy cards
Mhm.
already graded.
So like up 20%, get rid of it because I dabble with the stock market for a while, and I was like I always would get that FOMO. It's like it's going up, up, up. Like no, I just hold it. Then the next day, slam. Like so I don't want to do that with the sports cards. So I want to like sell. Like how do you get rid of that FOMO of like, well, it could wait another week and it could go up even more. Like you just sell it at that 10-20% and be done with it and move on. Is that
Well,
is that a
sports
good?
cards, obviously, you're getting a biased answer here. But sports cards is much better. Like buying cards already graded is like a 10 times better investment than the stock market, in my opinion. Because
Yeah.
number one, when you're buying a player in the offseason, like buying that $45 card of AR, it's at its
Yeah.
low point. When you're buying stocks, like Wolf of Wall Street, the famous
Oh yeah.
that's scene, Matthew McConaughey was like, you don't know if a stock's
Yeah.
gonna go up, down, left, or right. It's true. You have no
Yep.
idea. But like you're
Nope.
buying Anthony Richardson at its floor. And then also when the season starts, I mean, hopefully you've listened to my content enough, and most players go down in value. So like you
Mhm.
shouldn't get FOMO. You shouldn't be thinking, oh, should I hold this player into the season? Because most guys go down. It happens every single year. Just most players don't perform up to expectations. And then you'll see it. Like when something spikes, sell it. Or if
Yeah.
not, make sure it's sold before the season. If you see a
Okay.
quick spike up, that's your indicator to sell. And usually there's a cause behind it. You played well in the preseason or some sort of report or something. But
Mhm.
yeah, you shouldn't get FOMO. Like my goal when I buy cards already graded is to at least make 20% like net after fees and
Okay.
everything. So that's what I
Mhm.
aim for. If I do that, I'm happy. Um, So, but yeah, you'll sell cards. I can't tell you how many times I've sold a card in like July because I thought his value spiked, but it was worth 30% more in August. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
But also at the
Oh,
same
yeah.
time, the opposite happens. You sell a card at its hype, and like last year, I was buying Sam Howell last year because he was a backup, and I thought he was going to compete with Geno Smith for training camp, and his cards were like stupid cheap. And there was like a week period. I think Geno Smith got hurt in training camp, or Sam Howell was playing well, and his value doubled. And I sold it, and then it went back down. So that happens too. But yeah, you can't get FOMO.
Yeah.
You just have to be rigorous. Is the best word.
Yeah. Do you usually auction sell or buy it now
Nah,
for
I only auction
10s?
sell when I panic. So any football cards I have on me, but like, late August, I'll just auction them and just say, fuck it. If I make money, great. If I break even, whatever. But most of
Yeah.
the stuff I'm selling at the National Card Show, just people I know, a lot of social media posting. I mean, honestly, I can't post on social media in these Facebook groups anymore because I get shit on. People, like no one wants to people just start commenting like ridiculous things. So I just text people.
Yeah.
I text people I know or going to card shows. But back before I started doing Major League Profits and started posting a lot of content, I would post on social media. People would pay you PayPal goods, or I knew a lot of the people, so they would just Zelle me, Venmo me. But I'm trying to sell it, not auction first, and then auction at the end before the season starts.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Any other
Yeah,
questions?
I think that's all good. I think that's good for today.
Awesome. Well, call in the
But,
future. Yeah, keep me updated on how everything's going. It's
yeah,
good. It's good to hear that 6 out of 10 cards got a 10. It's pretty solid.
yeah, I have to let you know how the other ones do. I sent a bunch in the SGC too. Just like they should be coming back soon. Like they had a 15-day turnaround. I sent like 75 in for the $12 thing. So hopefully I can just get rid of those and pay for more and make
Had
a
you
couple bucks to pay for another one. So
had you learn how to buy in grade sport? You're not in my program, right?
no, I just do it myself. I watch a lot of videos. I'm
Okay.
actually an auto mechanic, so for Audis, I work at an Audi dealership, so I have some sitting in a car programming computers or resetting stuff. You gotta wait for the computer, so I'm online scrolling and
Okay. Well, good. Oh yeah.
saving cards to look at over for the next day. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
okay.
yeah,
Sweet. Yeah. Good
I
for you.
used to sit around and scroll through Facebook and Instagram, and like
That's what I
I was
tell
like, "What the
people.
hell am I doing?"
Like,
Now it's like now I'm just scrolling through sports cards and picking out ones that I can look at later, and
dude,
you
it's
know,
that's a great mindset. That's actually one of the first videos in my program. Like,
hmm
literally take all the time you spend on social media scrolling and scroll on eBay instead. Like,
yeah,
just
yeah,
replace it. And
yeah.
it's
I don't even go on those sites anymore, to be honest with
yeah,
you. It's
or like,
kind of
go
crazy.
on, or like if you have like an Instagram sports card page or a Facebook one, like, scroll on that, but like at least when you're scrolling, it's
Hmm.
productive and you're making money as opposed
Yeah,
to, just looking at your uncle's hot dog he ate last week at a barbecue that he posted a picture of, right? Uh, but
right.
yeah, it's a great thing because sports cards, it's like addictive scrolling, just like social media, but like at least you're making money and it's productive.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Sweet.
totally.
I
So,
appreciate you calling in. And yeah, dude, let me know if you have any other questions in the future. Feel free to call in again.
all right, sounds good, Eric.
All right,
Thanks.
later.
All right.
A lot of callers coming in. Hey, you got Eric.
Hey Eric, how you doing, man?
What's up? What's your name?
Hey, my name is Marcus.
Marcus. Where are you calling from, Marcus?
From Washington State.
Nice. How can I help?
Hey man, so I have some questions in regards to your sales strategy. Um, mostly like when you're like going to be like as a vendor.
Yep.
A lot of times, I've been approached when I have a table. I feel like a lot of times, always the person that's when I'm trying to buy a card from me, they're trying to shoot around 85% comps right
Yeah.
off the bat on almost everything. So I kind of wanted to get your approach on how would you sell it for like just a single, or if somebody wanted a bulk of say like 3-4 cards, like what's your approach on that when you're selling?
Well, you're talking about are you talking about specifically at card shows, or you're talking about just in general?
Just card shows, so mostly like sports. Like that was my take.
Card show. So it start And are you how are you acquiring these cards? Are you buying them and grading them? Are you just childhood cards?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm buying them. So I have mostly everything from 2023 to current of football, Don Russ, Optic. I've got
And
basketball,
you're
baseball as
grading and you're
well.
grading these cards, or you're buying them already
Yep,
graded?
and I send them into PSA and get them back.
And give me an example of a card that you bought, graded, and that you're having trouble selling, or someone was lowballing you.
Okay, so I've got so pretty much I got the Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, and then I've got the Bo Nix.
Give me one specific card. How much you paid for it?
Okay.
What it graded? How much you're trying to sell for?
Okay, so we'll go with the Caleb Williams Red Pandora box. I have a PSA 10.
Yeah. What'd you pay?
I bought that from a box, from a actual.
Oh, you got it from a break
mega box. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, you probably heard me say this before, but I would recommend not doing that because breaking's you're probably gonna lose money. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. So I got one from a break, and the other one I ripped from actual a box from product.
Yep.
And so at that point I'm like, okay, I spent maybe $60 on the box, pulled that, sent it into PSA in a gemmed. So what I'm seeing for that is, it's kind of going from 250, 280 ish. So I was just trying to get your approach though, man. What, when someone just comes up right off the bat, I mean, is that good? When you're selling that right off 85% comps of whatever the current sell or last recent sell is at?
I try to sell for 90.
Okay.
Especially because you're getting cash. So, few things when it comes to selling at card shows. Number one, if you're is your goal to do this to make money, or are you just doing it to have fun?
Oh, money.
Okay, and as a side income, few grand a month to replace your job. What are you looking to do?
Yeah, I'm looking for a side income. Yeah, definitely anything from two to four a month. That'd be a win for me.
Okay, so number one, I'm sure you know this already, but breaking is gambling. It's like going to the casino. You're gonna lose money, guaranteed. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware of that already. I'm sure you've lost some money already. So that's number one. Don't do it anymore if you're looking to make money. Do it for fun once in a while. It's an interesting thing because I say not to do it, but it's also what drives the hobby. So I get it. It's addictive. It's fun, but don't do it right at all because if you're looking to make money. And then number two, when it comes to selling, like people that come to me and they're like, I'm having trouble selling this card. It's because they don't know what they're doing when it comes to buying. If you're buying a Caleb Williams, whatever, right now, which would be a good time, and you get it graded, it comes back to you in a tens, you'll be into it for very cheap and you could afford to sell it for 90%. So if you're having trouble selling cards, it's either because you're buying them at the wrong price or you're buying the wrong types of cards. If people are coming up to you and they're not offering on your cards at all, it's because you're buying types of cards that are not liquid. It's liquid cards, ones that are easy to sell, like Optic, Prism. It's pretty simple. But I try to sell for 90%. And what you want to do, this is my experience at card shows and just really, really in general, is most people try to take advantage of unsuspecting people, right? That don't really know, and they try to overprice their card. So let's say you have a red Pandora, Caleb Williams, you paid $50 for, let's say $80.
Okay.
You got it graded, it 10'd, now it's worth $250. Great. Most people try to sell the card at $280, $290, $300 and try to squeeze every penny out of it. And they'll price the cards at the card show. So if you ever go to a card show and you look at comps of cards, you'll go up to a booth and be like, why is this guy asking $1,000 for this card? It clearly sells for $700.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would say don't be that guy. Be the one that's actually fairly priced. Price your cards at comps. Because if you're doing it right, you're just looking to sell these cards for comps or 90 to 95% in cash because you'll make more than enough money because you're into them for cheap because hopefully they've appreciated in value from before when you bought them. Then also, hopefully they 10. So you could afford to sell it for 90, 95%. And the reason I say to do that is because number one, if you're selling a card like a Caleb Williams Red Pandora for 90%, it'll sell right away. As opposed to if you're looking to get 110% for it. And two, people want to do business with who are fair. People want to do business with people who are fair, right? So you'll build much more connections and relationships. And in the future, when you keep doing it, you'll have, 20, 30, 50, 100 people in your phone you can just text that have bought cards from you. When you sell it to them, they'll just send you Zelle, Cash App, whatever, Venmo, no fees. And you'll have these cards sold a lot of the time before you even get them back. So that's why you should sell cards for be fair. But 85%, a little too cheap. I would be at 90 to answer your question. But I know I just rattled off a million things.
No.
But any questions?
No, no, that kind of answers it for me, man. I do feel like 90% would be like a solid number. I just feel like it's always going back and forth where, if it's not 85% what they're wanting and I'm going 90, 95, then, it's like, well, this guy's supposed to have a good market. This guy's supposed to be, like the last sale went for this. And it's like, okay, well, this is where I'm at with it, say 90, but no, that definitely answers my question though, man. The other question I did have though, Eric, is I also sent in a Brock Bowers orange cracked ice and came back as a 10.
Yeah.
And that currently has been sitting for like a month and a half, and it's only like a pop 5.
Why
and
not?
There's not
Continue.
And it's not made a whole lot. I don't see a whole lot of comps on this thing, man. And I'm trying to see like where
what'd you pay for?
Where would the market be at? The same thing. I was gambling, my man. I
you're
ripped
gambling.
it from.
My man's a gambler.
Yeah.
My man is a gambler.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, you'll have better. How much have you spent on breaks so far?
No, I got this from an actual like mega box.
Yeah, or from opening up a pack. Like, how much have you spent between breaks and packs? Out of curiosity.
I mean, well, for the mega box, they're like anywhere from like 55, 65
No, I'm just saying total. Like, of all time, how much do you think you've spent on like packs and boxes and breaks?
I mean, probably be maybe around like good like 600 maybe.
Oh, okay, not terrible. I get people that will say like they spent like $10,000 on like 20,000.
Oh, good. Oh no,
okay.
No, I'm not that high.
Okay. Well, okay. So this is what I would do. So I'm sharing my screen here. So a Brock Bowers orange ice. This is actually, it's a good question. So this is how you determine the price of something for a card where you're not sure what a 10 should sell for. Okay. So Brock Bowers, his orange ice not graded is like $35-$40, right? Sales. However, pick a comparable player and just like do the math and see the multiplier. So who's a comparable player? Well, like Malik Neighbors is like similar, same draft class, So let's see if Malik Neighbors has any 10s. No, there's no 10s of Malik Neighbors. Give me another player who's like comparable to Brock Bowers. Who's another good skill position guy in that class?
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. Just because he's a tight end, so that's where it's like. I'm trying to think. It's like other than like Malik Neighbors, like when you go to like receivers. So how about like Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh yeah,
he's in the same class.
Yeah. So let's see. So there's one of Brian Thomas. So Brian Thomas's orange ice sells for like $20. Yeah, $20, and a PSA 10 auction for $170. So $20 to $170, that's about 8 times roughly. So Brock Bowers, if you do the math and you do 35 times 8, 280, it sounds a little bit high. I would say Brock Bowers would be in the low 200s. So if you auction that card, I think it would do like 220, 230 just off intuition.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's a good way to do it.
Okay, so then is that kind of what you're doing, like when you're coming across anything that has not had sales as a 10, you're just looking for a comparable player with that market in that class. Okay.
Yeah, the same year. But the same year, a similar player. What you'll discover, the reasoning behind like a card's multiplier from raw to 10 is just usually based on how hard it is to grade. So like this year's Prism is a little bit harder to grade. So that's why that card sells for 7-8 times more than a raw. But yeah, that's what I do. Just same year, similar player. Maybe look at 2 or 3 of them, average it, and that's how I would get to the multiplier.
Okay. Can I ask, like, what
Yeah, go for it.
for platforms for what you're using to look up comps and values? What's your take on using Alt compared to like Card Ladder or any other platforms? What's your take on that?
What type of card am I looking up?
So let's just say we're looking up a Patrick Mahomes Uptown card from Optic.
Downtown?
Well, I have an Uptown. It's raw.
Uptown. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how much? So those cards, when I'm buying cards to grade, usually these cards are common, like they're very common cards, and I can just pop them up on eBay and just look at the recent sales on eBay, and I'll see a few recent sales. So if like for cards I'm grading that are usually like lower end, like $100, $200, there's a lot of sales of them. So you don't have to be that fancy. Just go on 130 point on eBay. But if I'm buying a card already graded, you've probably seen me do this, and it's like $1,000, $2,000 more expensive. I'm looking at all of them to see, just to make sure I don't miss any sales. So I'll look at market movers, all eBay, 130 point, to come to a conclusion as to what I should pay. But if it's a card already to get graded, you can just go on eBay. A lot of them, they're common. They sell all the time.
Okay. So you're looking at all the platforms then. All right.
For more expensive cards, that's what I do.
Okay. Got you. Hey, and then I think the last question I got was, if someone was interested in buying, let's just say 3-4 of my cards, and say they're valued total net worth of like say $1,500, and specifically these are going to be I have a JJ McCarthy PSA 10 rookie variation, and I have a Caleb variation rookie, but they all and a Drake, and they all valued high. What's your take when it's like someone's like asking to do a trade of similar, just to lower that cash or that, that transaction? What's your take on that?
Yeah, when it comes to buying cards and grading them, I never trade because they're so liquid and they're so easy to sell because they're just a few $100s. I never trade. The only reason I would ever trade is just ask yourself, A, will it make you more money, or B, will it make your life easier? So I would trade those cards for like one bigger card of maybe like someone I'm buying that I think is a good buy. It's like Sam Darnold. I think his value is going to go up. So if it was like a bigger card of Sam Darnold when I'm trading 4 cards for one, so now I have less inventory and it's a player I think could appreciate, sure, I'd make the trade. But buying cards to get graded, you don't need to trade them. They sell like right away. It's so easy.
Okay, cool, man. Well, hey, thanks for all your help, Eric, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Keep crushing.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. You got Eric. You're live.
Trying to get a hold of Eric?
Yep, this is Eric. You're live.
Hey, Eric. This is Chad. How you doing?
You said Chad?
Correct.
What's up, Chad? Where are you calling from?
Well, Chicago. Love the show, man.
Nice. Thank you. How can I help you?
Hey, I just recently got into it. Been taking a lot of your advice, but I don't know, about $3,000 worth of cards in the last, month and a half.
Yep.
Mostly through eBay. Your Drake Mays, Caleb Williams, Penix, all these guys, and I'm finding like half the cards I'm buying off of eBay have surface issues. Is there ways around navigating like print lines or little scratches, things of that nature, to kind of minimize some of the cards that I'm getting and that I'm not submitting to PSA?
Yeah, so something to know is buying cards to get graded is a skill just like shooting a basketball. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Looking at surface issues, like just general rule of thumb, the shinier the card, more surface issues usually, right? Because, if you scratch a card that's just a plain white surface, you don't see the scratch. But like if it was like a shiny silver prism, that scratch is like illuminated. So that's the first thing. Second thing is it's just you want to be looking. So surface is hardest to see online, but like if you zoom in on eBay, use your phone. It makes it easier. Actually, it's like clearer and more easier. You can zoom in and like pinch your fingers. You want to be looking for like factory lines. So like those light surface issues, or dimples. Dimples are usually you could see. The factory lines and like the scratches, that's the harder thing to see, especially because sellers know that their card is damaged and they try to hide them. Of course, right? But it's just like the more you do it and the more cards you buy, and it's a shitty answer, but like you just get better at it and you know what types of cards have surface issues and you could be, skeptical about it. And like the more surface issues a card has, usually the more lenient PSA is with it. So one little dimple or factory flaw, sometimes that card will 10, but if it has multiple, it won't.
Gotcha. And then the ones that you get that say have factory lines or a surface issue, do you just try to wait for the market to pick up and sell those for maybe 20% more than you picked them up for, or how do you get rid of those cards?
It depends. It depends what your buying budget is. If you have a budget enough where you could keep buying and it's not going to affect your budget to hold those cards and you could hold them and make 10, 20%, do it. What I tell people is if your budget or your buying power will be affected by you holding those cards, sell them. Or if you're new to sports cards, like if like you're newer, right?
Yep.
I would just sell them, get the cash, just to buy more cards faster because you just want to see the damn thing work, right? Like you're probably skeptical. Like your wife probably thinks you're an idiot. Like you're probably like, does this thing actually work?
Oh yeah, I get some comments, but
Oh,
whatever,
Yeah. Oh man, my parents when I first got into sports cars in 2015 thought I was a lunatic. They were like this. They were like just.
Well, I just gotta prove her wrong. That's all I gotta do, right?
Yeah. You just gotta. We tell people if you ever get on a sales call with one of our salespeople and you say like, I want to talk to my wife about joining the program. What I say to people when I used to take the sales calls is like, honestly, man, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Let's not tell her, just join the program, start making money, then you can show her. Because I've yet to meet a wife that is like fully supportive. Like, yes, let's spend thousands of dollars on sports cards. Great idea. It's impossible to explain to them without showing them proof. So that's my advice. Even though I'm not a relationship coach, but I would just hide it until you make profit, then tell her.
She'll deal with it, man. It's my money, so.
Then you're good. Then you have nothing to worry about.
One other quick question.
Yeah.
I do like ripping, and I mostly buy for grading and all that stuff. But I do like to open packs, and I cannot find retail Optic anywhere, and these bots seem to be gobbling everything up. How do you go about getting some of these boxes that are damn near impossible to get at retail? Or do you just not buy them?
I don't buy them. You're breaking boxes is a losing game. You have better you have better odds of winning money going to the casino than opening up boxes and packs. Way better odds. I don't do it, so I wouldn't know how to answer that question.
Yeah, I only spent maybe 4 or 5 boxes throughout the last month and a half or so. But that's part of the, like you said, it's part of the industry, and I like doing it. And I don't want to have most of my money is bought in buying individual cards, but I do like ripping, and Optics seem to be the hot card, and I just can't find a way to get them.
Well, that's because they're hot.
Without paying ridiculous prices,
Get to Walmart or Target early, or like make a connection there. Honestly, find an employee, pay him $200.
Yeah, MJ Holdings guy. Yeah, exactly.
Pay him a few $100 and say, hey, dude, give me your phone number. Tell me when you're putting these optic boxes. I'll be waiting there just so I can grab them. And I'll give you, every time you tell me, I'll give you $50, $100. That's what I would do. It's probably fucked up I'm saying that out loud, but that's what I would do.
Yeah, seems like that's a consensus. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you, man, and you have a great show, and learning a lot from you. So even I haven't taken a class, you're definitely coaching up a lot of people that are watching. So thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Sweet. Well, with that said, I'll let you guys go. Hopefully you learned a lot. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Any questions, feel free to call in. Like I said, Monday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. See you guys in the next one.